Good evening. Would you please stand with me for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Councilman Rogers, please.
Before I do this, I'd like to say, for those of you who don't know, Dolores Chansey passed away last night. Dolores Chansey, her husband Bobby was our public works director for many years. Dolores was head of our local AARP, the 5181 that met at the Vienna Senior Center. Dolores worked at Dill's Department Store, Stoughton Thomas, Brockway Glass. She was very active in Mary Martha Circle at her church, the American Legion Ladies Auxiliary, president of MidOhio Valley AARP, senator for the Silver-Haired Legislature Board of Directors for Wood County Seniors, and member of the Vienna Senior Center. And Dolores really loved line dancing with her daughters, so if you have a chance, keep them in your prayers, please. Okay? Let us pray. Our God, our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the blessings you've given to each and every one of us here. Tonight, we pray that you'll be with us and guide us as we continue with our budget progress. And we continue to pray for those serving in the armed forces abroad, serving in harm's way. Be with them, guard them, protect them. Thank you. In Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Skogstad.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call to order this special session of the Vienna City Council for February the 20th, 2020. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll that all members of council are present. Having a quorum, we will proceed. The report of the minutes from the February 13th, 2020 meeting have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, and the minutes will stand approved as posted. The report of the treasurer will be given at our first regular meeting in March. And I typically do this before we start our meeting, but I would like to have the next thing we're going to do recorded as part of the official minutes. So if I could have Chief Pfeiffer and Mr. Brown come forward, I'd really appreciate it. You're on the minutes. Chief Pfeiffer received a very prestigious award, which was presented by Don. He is with the Sons of the American Revolution, but his day job is he is the, well, tell me again.
County Safety Coordinator.
County School. There you go. He used to be a Parkersburg policeman, and now he does that, taking care of all the activities for the school. So if you would do this one more time.
Absolutely.
And if you'll hold on for 1 second. Would you all come please and join us? Tommy, you can come too. Yes, please.
This came to support my long-term buddy.
Come get my picture taken.
Barbara Joyce has been a faithful member of the Vienna Planning Commission for many, many years, and she also served on the rec board and park board for many, many years. She's also probably the reason why he's standing here today, because they were best friends growing up, and she kept a tight line on him. So, all right.
She started as my the first school teacher I ever had in Greenmont. She was my kindergarten teacher. So that's.
Well, you know, when you start hearing the stories,
You know my mom was out?
Well, no, I did not. You know what?
Well, I
When you start
started
hearing
it.
these stories, she and Bruce Rogers lived together for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Bruce was going to college, and she took him in. So, all right. So, Don, please do it again. Tell them.
Absolutely. As Vice President of the Sons of the American Revolution local chapter here at the James Neal chapter, we each year select an officer from the local area that represents high standards and morals and characters and leadership, patriotism, and a lot of different things that we take a look at as well. And this year, we selected Chief Pfeiffer from the Vienna Police Department to be that representative, to be that officer. We felt that he met all those standards, and obviously a lot of people really pulls for him out there. So he's a good guy, and so we was able to last Tuesday night at our February meeting to present him with the Law Enforcement Officers Medal for Officer of the Year from our chapter from the Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. So congratulations, Chief, for an outstanding job.
I told them the other night at the meeting that they had, the support that law enforcement has here in the MidOhio Valley is second to none. I appreciate all the support that we have for all of our officers across the MidOhio Valley, Parkersburg, Vienna, Williamstown, the Sheriff's Department, State Police, and our friends in Ohio. So we are very lucky here with what's going on across our nation with attacks against police. We have more support here, I feel, than anywhere else in the country. I appreciate you all, and appreciate you supporting us, every one of you, and appreciate you all staying up here. This is like extended family. Thank you again.
This evening, we continue with our budget presentations. First on the list this evening is the Vienna Library.
We'll take them,
Thank you.
as long as it's not homework.
It's not homework. I've done all the work myself. Thank you. You have two there? I can do that.
What?
Yeah,
You got
need
two?
it?
I think I did,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Here.
She can count.
Okay. I usually do a little bit different presentation than other agencies in Vienna because we actually don't receive our money directly from the city of Vienna. It's actually I'm sorry, I'm Brenna Call. I'm the director of the Vienna Public Library. We get our money through a special state law. We're one of two libraries in West Virginia that are under this state law, so we're very fortunate. And the city of Vienna is actually just kind of a pass-through, that they handle the money from the state and then disperse it to us quarterly. What I have here, if you can see it, is I usually do the value of your library. What is your library worth? There's a calculator online. You can go to the American Library Association website or the I Love Libraries website and find this. It shows the value of each item you would check out of a library based upon the current value of some items that you might purchase on Amazon, like adult books are valued at $17, young adult books valued at $12, and so on and so forth. And I have a couple extra of these if anybody's interested in looking at it closer. But basically what we do is I took just 1 month. In the past I've done like an entire year. I thought it might be interesting to look at just the month of January and actually use our own circulation numbers that we had from last month and plug them into this calculator to see what the value of the library was to the 3,813 people that visited the library last month. I plugged in all the numbers, so there's over 2,000 adult books were circulated, 138 YA, which is teen books, 1,900, almost 2,000 children's books were borrowed from the library last month, 74 audiobooks, 26 interlibrary loan requests that we got from other libraries in the state, 862 ebooks were downloaded, that could be e-audio as well. 53 magazines were read, and that's both digital and print magazines. This was a very conservative number, the 31 magazines, or I'm sorry, 31 newspapers. We have one gentleman that comes in and looks at the Parkersburg News and Sentinel pretty much every day, but we don't actually check that in and out, so I didn't have the exact number, so I just counted I counted the one guy that I knew that came in every day. I'm sure there are more people than that, but I didn't have exact numbers. 1,600, almost 1,700 movies, DVDs were borrowed last month. 30 music CDs. We don't have a music download program. Some libraries do, but we don't have that. We had 12 different agencies or groups use our meeting room last month. We had 113 adults attend programs that the library put on. 20 young adults attended, that's teens, attended programs that we put on for teens last month. 114 children. 446 hours of computer use in our library last month. About 50 database searches, and an estimated 260 or so reference questions for the month. So when you plug all of that in, based upon the value of those services, if you had to pay for them yourself, the value of those services came to $103,548. So over $100,000 in value for the 3,800 people that came to the library last month. When compared to the monthly amount of money that we get from the city of Vienna, which is about $28,000, it ends up being about 363% return on the money. So that's just for 1 month. So anytime anytime there's any question, I think, of whether libraries are or should be funded, or whether or not that people in the community are getting the value from the dollars that are spent, I think when you look at it and you break it down like this, it's clear that how much money each individual is saving by borrowing from the library. So, any questions about any of that information?
I actually do.
Uh-huh.
So I was looking at, you mentioned the library, unlike some other libraries, doesn't have a download music service.
Yes.
Then I looked at the young adult programs attended, adult and children's were 113, 114, young adult 20.
Mm-hmm.
So if the library were to offer the music download, do you think that might improve your young
It's
adult
possible,
programs?
yes, it's possible. Teens are they're the hardest group to get to the library. And what we consider teens is actually probably more like tweens, because by the time kids have their driver's license, they're active in sports and lots of other things, so it's difficult for us to get them in there. And these are January numbers too. If we looked at like August numbers or July numbers where we have summer reading program, they're probably triple what these numbers are when the kids are not in school. So, but yeah, definitely you could look at different types of things like that.
Thank
Anything
It's
else?
impressive what you do.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
One thing she didn't mention and probably didn't calculate in here, the mayor's wife and the Friends of Vienna Library also keep some books at our Vienna Senior Center, and they keep rotating those in and out so the seniors can use them, and it's very well liked and very well used, and we appreciate you.
Oh yeah, free notary.
Sure. Oh yeah, we actually last month did 62 notaries, 62 different documents that we notarized for free, and it's a free service at the library. So we did 72 faxes. So I did all the circulation stats today, so I remember some of these numbers. So.
I know that you all are also going to be a place where people can come down and sign up for the census and fill out their forms.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know you all have had training, so that's a plus.
It is a plus, and I think that that libraries are really going to be a vital resource for people who don't have access to the internet any other way. Now that the federal government wants you to do your census they're trying to move everything pretty much online. So, like in the past, probably 10 or 15 years ago, when they started moving a lot of the tax preparation to online, libraries saw an influx of people at that time, and we still have quite a few people that use our library for those types of services. So I'm anticipating that there'll be an influx of people starting in April for that too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Up next, we'll go to the Wood County Development Authority.
Every time. All right. I'm Lindsay Pearsall. I'm the Executive Director of the Wood County Economic Development Office, which is comprised of the Wood County Development Authority and the Parkersburg Wood County Area Development Corporation. Our office handles various things for the county, including marketing and attraction efforts. So what that means is when the state of West Virginia gets an RFI, which is a request for information, they typically send them to my office and we try to find a land or a building that fits them. We work with the local economic development directors like Teresa and Ricky Yeager with the city of Parkersburg in an effort to do those. Most recently, we've been filling out a 600 question RFI for a potential employer, so sometimes they're pretty long. But the other things that we do are business retention and expansion efforts for the county. So we do those in Vienna as well. We typically do those in conjunction with Morgan Tenney, who's our region's business retention and expansion representative for the West Virginia Development Office. So we have a whole list of people we're visiting in 2020. I think we've already knocked somewhere around 20 off that list, and we're in February, so that's pretty good. Our office maintains, with the help of funding from municipalities, the countywide property database. So we keep all commercial, industrial properties listed in there. This year and last year, we have changed things a little bit that we did before. The state no longer automatically accepts properties that are over 10 acres or 10,000 square feet. So our office now collects that information and then turns those over to the state so that they're included within the state database. And with that this year, Johns Manville is going to be a perfect opportunity for this. The state will come up and do drone footage of properties, help measure, do things of that nature in an effort to market it to people internationally and nationally. So we're working on that. Our office last year was also blessed. We hired Kate Baker full-time, who's a graphic designer. So I hope all of you have seen the City of Vienna welcome packets that you all sponsored. She designed those, and we put them out to people to be able to sponsor and put their own logos on the back. We've gotten a ton of feedback from those. I think it's something that we're going to do every other year to update them. The whole thought behind it was, when I moved back here from Columbus, I didn't know that I had to have an inspection sticker. Shame on me, but I am from Ohio. I have one now, Chief, so I'm good. But things like that people who move to West Virginia might not know about. Some people don't know about personal property, or they don't know where you have to pay your taxes. And so we tried really hard. Jill from the Chamber helped. Downtown PKB helped. Put together everything we thought would make someone moving here or relocating home easier for them and make it a better transition. So if you haven't picked up one of those, you have them around here somewhere, and I recommend you do that. Kate's helping with marketing. So one of the things that we're trying to work on is, and what we have been doing, is updating our tax incentive information, things that cities, the county, can offer. One of those that we did this past year, we ended up doing a business checklist. We had a lot of people who were wanting to put businesses mainly in Vienna and Parkersburg, and they were having a hard time. They didn't know the proper steps. They didn't know what they were supposed to do first. So we made that business checklist. It's 4 pages long, so we tried to include anything that we could think of, including if you open a restaurant, you got to give the health department a 45-day heads up so they can get you inspected. But that's on our website and printed at our office, so we're trying to hand those out as well. But basically, we're just trying to make it easier for businesses to come here, want to stay here, helping them with issues that they might have, and trying to make us more appealing to potential employers. Does anyone have any questions?
I'd just like to make a comment. You may not be very big in stature, but you are relentless. Okay? Honestly, she was one of the driving forces in the Hino project. Obviously, that's the biggest thing that's happened in our area for a long time. And with the addition of the 250 jobs that's coming, it's just fantastic. And I had a call today from someone that you put on inquiring about Johns Manville. There's been a lot of interest in that recently, and so thank you for all your efforts. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chamber of Commerce.
Nancy. I'm going to move it back up here again because I'm not small in stature by any means. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jill Parsons. I'm the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of the Mid-Ohio Valley, and delighted to be here today to give you an update about the Vienna prepaid membership program that you all have participated in since 2015. It supports local businesses to have a free chamber membership for their first year in business. So for those of you that are unaware of what the Chamber of Commerce does, our goal is that we provide programming that allows for connecting, celebrating, and communicating. And I'd like to think that we are one of the organizations in town that facilitates programming for the business community that hits all of those triggers. So we're honored that businesses want to be members of the Chamber, and we are so honored that the City of Vienna has recognized the importance of Chamber membership to new businesses that come to Vienna. So for a business to qualify for the Vienna membership program, one of three parameters must exist. It must be a brand new business opening in Vienna. It has to be an existing business that relocates to Vienna, or it can be an existing business in Vienna with a change in ownership or a change in location. So we work very closely with Teresa Smith to identify businesses that qualify. Plus, it helps that I live here in Vienna, so I am always watching for new development and opportunities. So when the business signs up through the Vienna prepaid program, our Chamber Champions Committee, which is our ambassadors, we go and welcome that new member. We help them with a formal visit or a ribbon cutting, and our entire Chamber membership are invited then to participate in the ribbon cutting events that we have. So to date, 47 businesses have participated in the Vienna membership program since October 2015. 39 of those businesses are still in operation and are located in Vienna. 2 of those businesses are still in operation, but they have relocated to Parkersburg, and 6 businesses have closed. So we currently have $1,600 remaining in the fiscal year 2019-2020 allocation. So that will benefit 5 additional businesses through June 30th of this year, at which point we would love to request an additional $3,000 for the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget to continue this program for another year. So I'd open up to any questions that you might have.
And Jill, I have to compliment you. You are without a doubt the biggest cheerleader that the city of Vienna has.
Well, thank you.
You and I
I'm
have
big.
done. You and I have done so many ribbon cuttings and grand openings over the years, and it's it's always nice to have you stand up there and tell everybody what a nice place to be. Vienna is. So thank you for that. And I know you live here, but you do treat us very well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I moved here about 20 years ago, but my parents and grandparents all lived here, so hopefully that gets us some opportunity. But yeah, it is a great honor to be a steward of these resources that the city has given to us to celebrate the new businesses that are in our community, and we thank you so much for the opportunity to do that.
All right. Thank
you very much.
All right. Next will be the Kids First program and the Family Crisis Intervention Center.
Thank you for having us this evening. I'm Cindy Buckingham. I'm the coordinator for the Kids First program in Wood County. As the mayor said, we are a program of the Family Crisis Intervention Center, and we are licensed by the West Virginia Family Protection Services Board to operate a monitored visitation and exchange program. This program is used by court-ordered families referred by the judges in our county. We also have outreaches in Jackson, Roane, and Ritchie for the Kids First program. We offer a friendly, safe, neutral environment to allow families to visit with their children or exchange their children. I just had a grandmother tell me Sunday night, I really try to focus on the friendly. I try to focus on everything, but friendly, safe, are the 2 most precious things to me with the children. A grandmother came in Sunday night with her 2 grandchildren, dropping them off to visit their father, and she said, I really appreciate what you all do here, because these kids fuss all day about having to come and see their dad, but they want to come and see you. So, it didn't mean as much as they're fussing about coming to see their dad, but it means a lot to me for the program that we offer that service, and it is an environment that the kids are comfortable being in. We operate with a part-time staff. We're a part-time program. We're there Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. We have 6 volunteers and 2 part-time staff members. We currently have a waiting list for visitation, as we did last year when I spoke with you. We always have pretty much a waiting list for visitation, and we can do unlimited exchanges. But last year when I spoke with you, I mentioned that we were losing our space on Dudley Avenue. That building was sold, and we had to look for a new facility. We were really having the challenge of trying to find a space that we could afford, the utilities and also the rent. After looking for about 3 months, we moved from Dudley to 709 Division Street, Suite 4 in Parkersburg, and we're operating with about 400 square feet less than what we had on Dudley. We haven't changed any services, we're all a little closer. And we did lose our outside space. I am fortunate enough to be here tonight with our executive director, Emily Larkins, and when we signed the lease for a year on Division Street, she said, doesn't mean we have to be here forever. So my goal is to find a space at some point that fits our budget, where we can afford to have more space, gain our outside space that we had on Dudley, just to have more space and room for the kids. We appreciate you having us. We appreciate all your funding in the past and any consideration that you can give us for the future. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Emily, are you going to speak this evening?
No, she covered it.
You can stand so we can recognize you. Okay. Up next will be the Humane Society of Parkersburg.
Good evening. My name is Gary McIntyre. I'm with the Humane Society of Parkersburg. For those of you that might not know, our mission is obviously to advocate for animals. We do appreciate the relationship that we've had with the city of Vienna over the last few years, and we are asking just to continue the funding at the current level. But I did want to share some statistics with you. In 2019, we actually had 3,136 animals that came into our shelter. Obviously, everyone thinks cats and dogs, but we actually had cats, dogs, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, chickens, ducks, pigs, donkeys, goats, and reptiles. But 90% of those we were able to actually put out either in adoptions to local rescue partners that we use, or return them to their owner. So we think that that's a big accomplishment. We currently have a project going on. If you've been down there lately, we're actually building a second building that will connect to the first. And in that building, we'll actually have outside kennels for the dogs. We'll be able to accommodate about 45 large and medium dogs. And then we'll also have, for cats and dogs, quarantine and isolation areas. So that'll certainly help us to be able to make sure that animals that come in and stray will be held for that 5-day period. Animals who are ill can hopefully then keep that from spreading to others. Just some statistics for Vienna. In the fiscal year 2019, we had 202 animals, or 7% of our total intake came from Vienna residents. 69 of our officer calls, or 6% of the total calls, were made here in Vienna. The funding that we get from Vienna currently makes up about 3.8% of our total budget for expenses in animal control operations. Our spot clinic, just so that you're aware, that is not included in the funding that you give us. But 110 Vienna residents have actually used the low-cost spay and neuter services. 292 residents have used our vaccine clinics that we have once a month on Saturday, and 89 animals in Vienna were given rabies shots. We also provide cremation services. We do that for individuals. They can either bring an animal, we'll do a mass cremation for them, where they do not receive anything back, or for a fee, we'll actually do a private cremation, provide the ashes back, and then we also provide urns if they'd like that as well. June 6th will be our 2020 Walk Your Paws at the City Park, and then August 22nd is our Tail Wagon Tailgate, and that's at Buzzy Dills Park. Those are two of our largest fundraisers and help us to be able to supplement what we do receive here from the city as well as the other counties. Anyone have any questions?
All right,
All right,
thank you very much. Next will be Artsbridge.
Oh, there he is.
Well, I've got stickers, but I don't think everybody wants a sticker.
Yeah, I want a sticker. Yeah.
You do want a sticker?
Freebies.
Thinks he's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah. Jen
Gold
Lawson
star.
got a sticker.
Thank you. What I'm giving you is our current strategic plan, which is good through 2021. I'm Amanda Stevens, Executive Director of Artsbridge. And what I gave you all is our current strategic vision, which is good through 2021. And I'll stick one up here for everybody else to see. There we go. Artsbridge has been around since 1986. And where we are right now, we have over 16 arts programs that we provide. And we're very proud of those because we have a very small staff and a fairly small budget to be doing this many programs. And we cover about 5 counties with our programming. We reach about 30,000 people every year. Most of those are students. Lost my notes. Here we go. The first program that I want to go into detail about a little bit is Art Cart. This is our program that we have in 18 Wood County elementary schools. The only school we're not in is Jefferson, as they have an art teacher. But we are currently providing 4th grade art instruction in the other 18 schools. We're in 100 classrooms. We met with Mr. Hassefluck 2 weeks ago, and we're very excited to announce that we're going to add another grade level. So it'll either be 2nd, 3rd, or 5th. We're not sure yet. And so we will be in 200 classrooms. As we know, there are some schools closing and everything, but it'll still be about the same number of classrooms. We're pretty excited about that, being able to provide it. We introduced some new things this year in addition to our long-standing programs. We began a scholarship and a teacher award. So we'll be able to present our first $1,000 college scholarship this spring. And that was made possible through Parkersburg native Luke Frazier, who moved to Washington, D.C. and has the American Pops Orchestra. So he has set up the scholarship and the teacher award, which will, through a process of nominating, open nomination forms, we're going to give 2 $500 awards to fine arts teachers this spring. So that's just a little bit of what we're doing in the community. Our primary focus is arts education. So to talk specifically about what's happening in Vienna is the Art Cart program, the scholarship and the teacher award, our very spectacular arts festival, which is coming up on Tuesday, March 17th, out at WVUP. We will have between 300 and 500 special needs students attending. The St. Patrick's Day Arts Bash is what it's called this year, and it's where they get to spend an entire day doing hands-on art activities. They try on costumes, they paint, they play instruments, they sing karaoke, they do yoga, they dance, and that day is made possible through funding from people like the city of Vienna, and we couldn't do it without these types of funding opportunities. We also partnered with Grand Central Mall. You may have noticed the art gallery in the mall. That is us. And also, it's a lot of work on their part too, but it's great because we're taking empty spaces and empty stores like that, and we're filling them with local artists. And anyone can be displayed in there, and they can even sell their work
So it's pretty nice to take that, what would just be an empty store, and have something wonderful like that. We are also having our second annual Arts Walk at the mall on May 9th, and we're adding to it, if you're familiar with the Iron Chef reality show, we're having a student, it's going to be called the Throwdown, the Art Cart Throwdown, and it's where teams of students can sign up to basically compete. We're going to have a DJ and have them, have surprise art ingredients, and so we're constantly trying to reach more people. Another thing that's new that is very exciting for Vienna is we introduced the Winter Music Series at the mall, and we had it the month of December, January, and February. The final one is this coming Sunday. If you haven't had a chance to come out and catch one, they are every Sunday at 2 at Center Court, and it's free, and we've had a pretty good turnout. For this being our first year, we had a board meeting earlier this evening, and they agreed to go ahead and do it another year. So we're just happy to be able to provide these for the city of Vienna. And I'm going to cut it off there because, I could talk all night about it, and there's other people that want to talk. So thank you for your past support, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. And we just want you to know that we recognize your support. Thank you.
I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
While you were talking, I looked over your long-range strategic plan.
Yes.
And I mean, they look very measurable, specific goals, achievable, and I think it's being manifested in, like, for example, what you described as going on at the mall, because I think that creates a great synergy. I was in the Canvas project I was looking at last night, and and I think that the mall's trying to do some things to draw people in that aren't necessarily shopping. I think you're contributing an important part of that, and so just kudos, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Next will be the MidOhio Valley Fellowship Home. Okay. So we'll move on to the MidOhio Valley Health Department.
Make yourself a little hard to reach.
Sorry.
Good evening. I'm Carrie Brainerd. I'm the Public Information Officer for MidOhio Valley Health Department. And just wanted to say that we appreciate the support that we get from Vienna and from Wood County. And just wanted to let you know about some of the projects that we've been doing. Of course, this has been a really hard couple of months. We've had a lot of flu outbreaks, several schools that have had very many people sick, and I found out today that the outbreak in Wood County has been considered closed. That doesn't mean the flu's gone away, but that means that the numbers are coming down enough that we can say it's no longer epidemic proportion. Of course, everyone's talking about the novel coronavirus. There hasn't been any cases reported in West Virginia. There have been people that have been tracked because of their travel, but no one has been contracted that disease as of yet. And it is being monitored very closely by the CDC as well as our epidemiologists. Some of the other things we do is we do a lot of clinical services, and a lot of that is the preventing diseases. We do a lot of immunizations. Of course, we're always encouraging people to do their flu vaccine. I think we have sent out that message a number of times, and they're still giving flu shots. So if you still need one, you can stop by and get one. But we have had a lot of hepatitis A. I think last year when I was here, hepatitis A was really peaking. We had over 200 cases of it in the area. We have been working very hard to get out and get hepatitis A vaccines to anyone that needs it, and at least, especially the at-risk population. And so those numbers are starting to slow down, which is a good thing. HIV and hepatitis C is now hitting the area because of the opioid epidemic.
And so we're trying to make sure that we test people for that, get them treatments if they need it. We can take care of all that for them. So we're trying to educate the community to know what to look for, know what the risk factors are, and get people in to be tested for that, because HIV is no longer a death sentence, but it is if you don't know you have it and it gets to the point where they can't treat it. So we are definitely doing a lot of work on that. Of course, we have our environmental health program, which works on inspecting the restaurants and getting them their permits 45 days ahead of time, and making sure that everyone is safe because they're having healthy foods offered to them, and that the establishment is clean and and well prepared for the community. We do all the food permits. We do Serve Safe for the store owners. They have to have someone that's at least one person that has taken the Serve Safe, which is a more extensive training on food safety. And we also monitor any animal bites. We investigate those. If there's a bat that's found dead, we will send those away to be tested. And there have been a few positives in Wood County, not necessarily Vienna, but in Wood County. So we take that very seriously. And we also do any other kind of vector disease education about Lyme's disease and mosquitoes and that sort of thing. So we do a lot of education out in the community. And we can't do that without the funding that we get from several different sources. We're small. We don't have a lot of staff anymore, but we still continue to work out in the communities. And we're trying to make sure that we prevent disease, promote health, and protect the public. And thank you all for your support in the years before on doing this. So, any questions?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Latrobe Street Mission, Jim.
Well, good evening. My name is Jim Sims, and I'm the Assistant Director of Operations at Latrobe Street Mission. First, I want to thank you for last year's donation to our feeding program. Through your generous donation, we prepared and fed over 23,000 meals from April through January this year. We provided 19,360 bed nights, January through December of 2019. As of February 1st, we have opened our 35-bed men's sober living facility. We have 10 of those beds filled, and we've not even had our grand opening yet. That's just word of mouth. So it's coming along. At this time, we would like to request for your consideration funding in the amount of $2,500 to continue to grow the feeding program, not just for the residents of the mission, but also the community at large. We thank you very much and would like to take this opportunity to invite each of you to come visit us at Latrobe Street Mission and see firsthand the great things that are happening there. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Jim, I'd like to say that every once in a while the Vienna Senior Center has a collection of different things. Is there anything in particular that you might need for your pantry? And we could go ahead and make a drive for something like that.
Actually, Bruce, we're always in need of paper products like toilet tissue, paper towels, Clorox bleach, Clorox wipes, bottled water. Just think about Christmas time and the family coming to visit and all the things that you need. That's just pretty much what I need, okay? I'm housing,
Earplugs?
Excuse me?
Earplugs?
We do use earplugs on occasion, but no, it's, our census right now is about 43 people per night in our homeless shelter. Thank goodness none of those are children. But we've been doing very well. With the weather going to be a little cooler tonight, we expect that to rise just a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Wood County Senior Citizens.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Godell, and I'm the Executive Director of the Wood County Senior Citizens Association. And before I begin with some of my prepared remarks, I didn't know about Dolores until you spoke. And I can't begin to tell you, we're going to be heartbroken. I've been there a little bit over a year, and we just recognized her for her long service. And she was retiring from the board and had served as not only our president, but when I came in last year, just really kind of spent a lot of time with me and took me under her wing a little bit and just told me all about the world here in Wood County. And so I immediately texted my executive board members, and they didn't know either. And our board meeting's on Tuesday. And so I think I'm a little bit broken up about it. So I'm going to go into what I prepared, but that's a little bit hard. So thank you for sharing that for me and with us, and it's going to be hard. But thank you for your support. And I wasn't able to make it here last year because I was at a fundraiser for a different cause, but also with seniors, and I just came from there now. But I wanted to share a little bit about where your support goes, and I'm sure you're all aware of, as the Older American Act provider for Wood County, we're basically responsible for serving the neediest seniors in Wood County. So we provide transportation, nutrition, and in-home care. And that's primarily our mission, is that food insecurity, socialization, and promoting health and welfare. So I was running some numbers and just looking to see how are we serving the city of Vienna, and how are we helping out here. And just looking at it, we are serving about 54 seniors with our Meals on Wheels program. And that comes out to about 9,000 meals last year, during the year of 2019. So 9,000 meals were delivered to residents within your area. And then we also have about 30 people who are coming to our congregate meals. So they're actually coming into the center, we're transporting them into our center, and they're coming and having lunch with us. And that's a big difference from last year. Mr. Hayhurst, one of our board members, came and presented last year for us. And so we had a really big year with opening our brand new center. And if you haven't come to visit, please do. It was a big accomplishment for us. It's really changed our focus and really kind of given us a new perspective. And so that's been a really big thing for us. So transportation-wise, we've been serving about 70 of your citizens. But what I saw a really big increase was, and one of our big things about promoting health and welfare is keeping people in their communities. And so we saw a huge increase in our in-home care. And that's a service where we go in and help with general housekeeping and general personal care to help people stay in their homes so that they're not going into nursing homes. And it was just not a huge, but I tried to look at some trend data. And so one of the things that we're helping here in Vienna is helping people stay in their homes and staying with their families instead of going into nursing facilities, and they're staying in their communities and they're staying independent. And so I thought that was kind of interesting because we don't normally look at things like that. So I thought that was pretty neat. So that's what I wanted to share with you about. That's where your support has been going. And we thank you for that. And we hope to continue serving and see those numbers increase. And when I was looking at that, it's about 13% of our budget is what we're providing here in your area. So are there any questions about that?
I want to make one comment about Kelly. So I had a client that needed something from the senior center, and I told her I'd try to help her to get it. And it was after hours, and I didn't know you at the time. And she was coming out, and I could tell it was a long day. And I told her what I needed, and she just turned around, unlocked the building again, went back in, got what was needed. And I think that's true for all the outside agencies that are here tonight. That the services that you provide to this community, everything that you do, and the outreach, and just above and beyond, is really appreciated. So thank all of you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. There are 4 other agencies listed on our agenda this evening. The Greater Parkersburg Convention and Visitor Bureau, Mark Lewis could not be here this evening, so he will be back in March to make his presentation. Earlier, Lou Molinaro came to see me from the River City Runners Club. He's not able to be here this evening, but he left me a brief message. I'd like to read it for him, please. In 1995, the city of Vienna sponsored an 8K championship race, which was very costly. In 1996, Mayor Bill Owens contacted the River City Runners Club to see if they would assist the city in putting on a smaller race. Mayor Owens said that the city of Vienna and St. Joseph Hospital would help sponsor the race. In 1997, we had our first race, a 5-mile run and a 5-mile walk. This year will be our 24th year for this race. In the past, we have had support from many departments in the city, the Wood County Communications, and students from Parkersburg Catholic and Jackson Middle School who help with traffic control. In addition, our fire department contributes very highly to that to make sure it flows smoothly. This race is one of the best races on our running series. Runners always tell me how much they love the course, and I am hopeful that the city of Vienna will continue to support this race. Thank you very much, Lou Molinaro. And we have always sponsored this race in the amount of $1,000. The 2 other ones that I have to present this evening, the MidOhio Valley Regional Council, both Mayor Joyce and I serve on the board for that. It's mandated funding. It's based on our population, and our share for that is $4,115. The other one is the Woodwork Washington Regional Planning Commission, and there it is also mandated funding, and it is in the amount of $4,005. The last one that's on my list this evening is the MidOhio Valley Work Camp. MidOhio Valley Work Camp is the group of young folks that come in from all over the country, and they spend a week here and paint homes, not only in Vienna but through Parkersburg and the county. It's one of the most successful programs, not only from the improvements they make in our neighborhoods, but the kids that come in here, they're great. I've been around them many years, and they paint well over 30 homes every time they come. And so the sponsorship that they're asking for is $3,000. With that, that concludes our outside agency presentations and our agenda for this evening. Moving on now, we come to council comments. Are there any council comments this evening?
Just real quick, Mayor. Now that we've pretty much gone through the budget proposals for the inside and outside agencies, and I don't know whether this needs to be in the form of on the agenda at our next regular meeting. I would just like for us to have the opportunity to go back and revisit some of the presentations that have been put forth and further discuss a few of the different line items within some of those budget proposals.
That will be the procedure. Mr. Connolly, we know now that based on the requests that have been made that we are out of balance, and so we will have that discussion to see how we can make the corrections that we need to bring it back into balance. So I'm sure that we'll spend considerable time going through that. So.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
Did you all hear that? Yes. She'll be putting things into Dropbox. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Congratulations, Chief.
Mayor Joyce, I didn't introduce you because you've been here for so long. I know. That's a fact. So anyway, and thank you all for coming this evening. All right. With that, meeting adjourned.